So today we're going to talk about application word problems for our rational functions. The first problem is just a warm-up, so let's go ahead and look at number 2. So for question 2, it says, so far this season, the Notre Dame baseball team has won 37 out of 44 games. How many more games must the team win to raise the winning percentage to 90%? So of course, 34 out of 44 is not equal to 90. So we're trying to figure out again how many more games the team must win to raise the winning percentage to 90%. So that is going to be our x. So let x equal how many more games the team must win. So for this, if we have 37 out of 44, again, we know that's not 90%. So we have to add to each of these X amount of games that the team must win so that it's equal to 90%. And of course, we don't just write 90% here. So you can write 0.90, or I'm just going to go ahead and do 90 out of 100 because that's 90%. So we learned how to solve this. We have a 1 fraction equals 1 fraction. So remember, when you have 1 fraction equals 1 fraction, you can cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, we would have 37 plus x times 100. And that is going to be equal to 90 times 44 plus x. So then when we distribute to each of our terms, we get 3,700 plus 100x equals 90 times 44 is 3,960 plus 90x. And now we need to combine like terms. So subtract the 90x to the other side. So 3,700 plus 10x equals 3,960. Divide the 3,700, or subtract. And so then we're running out of room here. We get 10x equals 260, divided by 10, and x is equal to 26. So that means they must win 26 more games to reach 90%. So the team must win 26 more games to reach 90% for their winning. So that's it for number 2. Let's go ahead and look at number 3. You can wash one window in 15 minutes, and your sister can wash one window in 20 minutes. How many minutes will it take to wash 14 windows if you worked together? So for this, we're going to set up some proportions. Let's go ahead and do windows over the minutes. And we're trying to figure out how many more minutes it will take to wash 14 windows if they work together. So x, of course, is going to be the number of minutes. So we have you plus your sister is equal to the total. So you can wash one window in 15 minutes, plus your sister can wash one window in 20 minutes. How many minutes, so we're trying to figure out how many minutes it will take, sorry, minutes is on the bottom, to wash 14 windows if you work together. So 14 is the number of windows over x, which is the number of minutes. So to solve this, you can do one of two things. You could make this side into 1 fraction and get a fraction equals a fraction and cross multiply. So we learned how to do that. Or we can find the LCD of all the denominators to get rid of them. I'm going to go ahead and do that because that's what we did when we solved these types of problems. So the LCD of all the denominators. So we have 15, which remember 15 breaks down into 3 times 5. 20, which breaks down into 4 times 5, and x. So the LCD of all the denominators would be 3 times 4 times 5 times x. So of course that's equal to 60x. So we're going to multiply all the numerators by this. All right, so if we multiply all the numerators, because if you do something to one side, as long as you do the other side, it doesn't change your equation. So we're going to multiply all the numerators by 60x. So when we do this, we get 60x times 1 is just 60x over 15, plus 60x times 1 is just 60x over 20, is equal to 14 times 60x over x. And so now we're going to go ahead and simplify this. So 60 divided by 15 gives us 4x, plus 60 divided by 20 is 3x, is equal to, and over here your x's would cancel out, so 840. So this gives us 7x equals 840 divided by 7, and x is equal to 120 minutes. So it will take you and your sister 120 minutes to wash 14 windows. All right, so let's look at the next one. Katie and Jake have to paint 6,000 square feet of hallway in an office building. Jake takes twice as long as Katie to paint one hallway. Working together, they can paint the entire hallway in 15 hours. How long would it take for each of them if they had to work alone? So for this one, we have Katie plus Jake is equal to the total time. And so it also told us that Jake takes twice as long as Katie. So Jake is going to be 2x because an x is equal to the time, and we're talking about the time in hours. And so let's do hallways over time. So in this case, it says that we know together they can do 15, work together, they can paint the entire hallway in 15 hours. So it says Jake takes twice as long to paint as Katie to paint one hallway. So one hallway takes Katie X amount of time. One hallway takes Jake 2x, and that's equal to the total, which is one hallway in 15 hours. So this is the equation that we are solving. So again, you can get one fraction equals one fraction and then cross multiply, or you can find the LCD of all the denominators. I'm going to do the LCD of all the denominators. So we have 15, which breaks down into 3 times 5. So that means we have 2 times 3 times 5 times x for our LCD, which is just 15 times 2 is 30x. So I'm going to multiply all the numerators by 30x, because if you do something to one side, as long as you do it to the other side, it doesn't change the equation. So when I do this, I get 30x over x plus 30x over 2x is equal to 30x over 15. And then we're going to simplify. Of course, the x's cancel out here, so we have 30 plus 30 divided by 30x divided by 2x is 15 is equal to 30 divided by 15 would be 2x. So this gives us 45 equals 2x divided by 2, and x is equal to 22.5 hours. So that means that Katie takes 22.5 hours and Jake takes, and he's twice as long. So for Jake, we have to do 2 times x. So that would give us 45. So 45 hours. And that would be our answer. So for the next one, it says you drive 180 miles and your friend drives 150 miles in the same amount of time. Your average speed is 10 miles per hour faster than your friend's average speed. We want to find each speed. So we're going to let x equal your friend's speed. And for this, let's do miles over the speed. Okay, so it says you drive 180 miles and your friend drives 150. So we have 180 over, and it says your average speed is 10 miles per hour faster than your friend's. So if x is your friend and you're going 10 miles per hour faster, that would be x plus 10 equals your friend drives 150 miles over in the same amount of time, so over x. So for this, now we have one proportion, or excuse me, one fraction equals one fraction, so we can cross multiply. So we have 180x equals 150 times x plus 10. So then we're going to distribute here. So we get 180x equals 150x plus 1500. Subtract the 1500, or sorry, we need to do the x's. Subtract 150x, and that gives us 30x equals 1500 divided by 30, and x is equal to 50. And we're talking about miles per hour, so that's 50 miles per hour. So that means that your speed, since you are 10 miles per hour faster, would be 50 plus 10, which is 60. So it is 60 miles per hour. And your friend's speed is 50 miles per hour. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next word problem. So for this one, you should pause the video and try to do this on your own. When you're done, you can unpause it and check your work. All right, so this is basically the same type of problem that we just did. So you drive 360 miles and your friend drives 400 miles in the same amount of time. Your friend's average speed is 5 miles per hour faster than your average speed. We want to find each speed. So of course, let x equal your friend's speed. And of course, again, it's miles per hour. So we have miles over speed again, so you and your friend. So 360 over x. So that means that x is our speed, not your friend's in this one. So x is your speed. Equals, and then 400 over, because your friend's average speed is 5 miles per hour faster than your speed. So x plus 5 in this case. So 360 times x plus 5 equals 400 times x. So we have to distribute. So 360x plus 1800 equals 400x minus the 360x. So 1800 is equal to 40x divided by 40. And 45 is equal to x, so 45 miles per hour. So your speed is 45 miles per hour. And your friend's speed, which is 5 miles faster, is 50 miles per hour. And then question 7. So again, I would pause the video and see if you can answer this on your own. When you're done, you can unpause it to check your work. So an insurance representative traveled 735 miles by commercial jet and an additional 105 miles by helicopter. The rate of the jet was 4 times the rate of the helicopter. The entire trip took 2.2 hours. We want to find the rate of the jet. So for this, since it says the rate, we're trying to find the rate of the jet, and the rate of jet is 4 times the rate of the helicopter. So for this, then, that means we're going to let x equal the helicopter. Rate. Remember when we're doing these type of problems, distance equals rate times time. So if we're solving for the rate, remember the rate is equal to the distance over time, which is why we've been doing the other problems for miles over speed. And so in this case, we're going to do miles over the time. So for this, same thing. So then for this, we get the jet plus the helicopter is equal to the entire trip time. So the jet, we had 735 miles, and it says that the jet's rate is 4 times faster than the rate of the helicopter. So if the helicopter's rate is x, this would be 4x plus, and then 105 miles by helicopter over x, because that's the helicopter rate, equals the entire time of the trip, which was 2.2 hours. So this is what we're solving. So you can get one fraction equals one fraction, or you can find the LCD of all the denominators to get rid of them. So I'm going to do the LCD of all the denominators, which would just be 4x. So I'm going to multiply all the numerators by 4x. So we get 735 times 4x over 4x plus 105 times 4x over x equals 2.2 times 4x over 1. So notice that your 4x's cancel out here, the x's cancel out here. So then we get 735 plus 105 times 4, which is 420. So the x's cancel out, sorry. So 420 is equal to 2.2 times 4 is 8.8x. So that gives us 1,155 equals 8.8x divided by 8.8. And x equals 131.25. So the helicopter rate is 131.25, and we're talking about hours of miles per hour, right? Because it's 2.2 hours and miles, so miles per hour. And then that means that the jet is 4 times 131.25, which means that the jet's rate is equal to 525 miles per hour. And that is it for our rational word problems.